Hey folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. Now, don't forget at 10 o'clock, it's time for instant replay with Dave Garner. And I tell you what, we've had 3 weeks of this is our first week back with instant replay on Monday. We run it on Mondays on our Facebook, Team FYN Sports Facebook page. So if you want to see that, you go to Team FYN Sports Facebook page. We run that, and we do share it over to all our other pages. Then on Tuesday, we run it on FYNTV.com. Now, obviously, Tuesday's show will have a little old news to it because they're going to be talking today about national championship. We do not have to wait for that show. I have told you I am picking Clemson. I would like to take a minute, if Dave would permit, for me to tell you on that show I'm picking Clemson. So what about you? Are you going with Alabama? And what about Tampa Bay Buccaneers said they may be interested in talking to Kirby Smart? Just saying, whole lot to talk about. 10 o'clock, go to 10 o'clock, go to Facebook, Team FYN Sports. Facebook, Team FYN Sports. It'll be live here at 10 o'clock. An hour of sports, Gilmer wrestling, somebody wrestling, basketball, you name it. They've only got an hour, but they put a whole lot into it. Now, I want to go into the notes. So let me do my wrap up, okay? Folks out there in this great country, this great nation, this great United States of America, from sea to shining sea, I'm about tired of hearing this national disgrace, this national crisis, a nation in crisis, the chaos in the White House. Everything is dark and there's a disaster around every single corner. The only problem is the American people that are out there working day to day. They're not living in that disaster. And I told you, that's exactly why you listen. And I'm telling you right now, you might think I'm joking, but I'm not, okay? I say this, I'm not joking, folks. Let's see where it's at. 111. Josh, put up number 9. That's their funeral clothes. I'm not joking. They will dress in black. All of the deep state media, ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, they will, CNN, they are a crisis, the government crisis, shutdown, the disgrace, everything. They are in there, the government's collapsing black funeral clothes. I'm just telling you the truth. Let me go through a couple more of my notes. I do notes on the Sunday shows, and I don't want to forget. Does the wall mean keeping the base in? Is the wall really to keep Trump supporters in instead of the swearing in is useless. This is a note I made. Swearing in is useless now. This is what Democrats call progress. Okay? I think Sinema, the new Democrat senator from Arizona, did her oath of office on the Constitution. On the Constitution. All guess is she's the most pro-abortion senator in the Senate, and she's an atheist. That's the guess. She would not use a Bible. She used the Constitution. To me, swearing in now is useless. The other two, the first two Muslim women sworn in on Quran, I think it's useless now. Religious head coverings, we covered that. Real lives are being affected. It's what you're hearing is real lives are being affected. 800,000 federal employees, people back to work and government reopened is what we need. What you're going to hear is people back to work and government reopened. I'm going to tell you right now, I think Donald J. Trump has a perfect opportunity right now to restructure some government and just take the heat and go on, knowing it's the best thing for the country. I think Donald J. Trump should just go with it and move on, but he has to have our support, all right, unwavering support. I always said, I wonder not if Trump will do the things required to turn the country around or necessary to turn the country around, is will we support him to the end, even when it gets tough on certain days. But you keep hearing people back to work and government reopened is what we need, all right? What you're also hearing on the news is Trump, this is the first time that Trump is dealing with a divided government for the first time. I want to know what you would call the last 2 years. You continue to hear that Trump had a Republican Senate, a Republican House, and the White House. Republicans had all three. And now you hear that Trump is dealing with a divided government for the first time because the House is Democrat. What would you call the first 2 years? I say he's been dealing with divided deep state government since he started, period, okay? So I think he's had divided government since the day he started. And yes, if anybody tells me what, go-go juice that Lindsey Graham is drinking, I would like, you got the people on TV that, they sell Super Beats or whatever. I might try some Super Beats, but and then they got, used to play for the White Sox. I mean, he is selling the libido or whatever. He is selling boom, 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 pills. All right, you got all that going on. I'd like to see Lindsey Graham bottle up the go-go juice that he's got going on, see what happens there. I'd like to know, okay? So I think the President of the United States has been dealing with divided government for the last 2 years. If you watch Democrats, I'm leaving them up in their funeral clothes, okay? Because these guys are trying to lead the charge with CNN and the others. If you ask the Democrats, they go on show after show after show after show, and listen to the line. All the border security experts I talked to, they do not bring the border security experts on the shows. They do not mention their names because when you start drilling down into these border security experts they talk to, you start exposing their ties to the Democrats, George Soros, MoveOn.org, whatever it may be. You start showing the ties to these politicians. So you keep hearing all the border security experts I talked to. John James yesterday. John James was on ABC yesterday. Great job, John James. He ran against Stabenow. Stabenow up there in Michigan for Senate. He did not do... John James, keep an eye on him. Let's see. The shutdown. All right. John James is the one that made the comment, and all due respect to my friends that are 70, easy out there. A lot of good friends out there, all due respect, okay? But, hey, you know what? Democrats are looking at Joe Biden, and they're looking at Elizabeth Warren. She's 69. And they're looking at all of these Democrats. Bernie Sanders is 76. And John James called them 70-year-old retreads, all right? Let's see. You keep hearing impeach, wait for the Mueller report. I want to caution all of my friends out there that are major Donald Trump supporters that feel, I want to caution you, okay? There is something to be said about, in the last 2 weeks since the first of the year, there's no Mueller headlines, right? What happened? There's no Rod Rosenstein headlines, Rosenstein, what happened? There's no Gary Cohen, the attorney headlines. There's no Stormy Daniels headlines. There's no General Flynn headlines. There's no James Comey headlines, other than the other day when Comey said, go, Mitt, go, all right, or something like that. Have you noticed how things have cooled off? There's no Paul Manafort headlines. I just want to caution my Republican Trump-supporting friends. I got to put that, or Trump-supporting Republican friends. Let's do it like that, because not all Republicans support the President of the United States. We have learned that. But I want to tell you, be cautious, okay? Because the deep state is dangerous. All right, they're very dangerous. Because there's something bad wrong that you have the common sense to get a cup of coffee this morning, sit on your back deck, and wonder why there's miles of fencing between North and South Korea. And there's a zone that's demilitarized. Now, we're not with military action with Mexico. And why there are our troops, thousands of our troops in South Korea defending that border today. You have thousands and thousands of troops in South Korea defending that border today. We watch countries all over the world that defend their border, build their walls, build their barriers, and have their troops defending their border today. And we can't figure out why, because we got enough common sense. I mean, you just, hey, you know, what did Hank Williams Jr. say? A country boy will survive. You're sitting on a back porch saying, you know, something bad wrong. I always did wonder, if we're broke on Monday, how are we sending these countries money? Then I realized, heck, I'm just too dumb to realize if you're broke, you can't send money. I just don't realize it. But we started paying attention, like, well, wait a minute, how do we send, like, you know, billions of dollars to Honduras, billions of dollars to El Salvador, billions of dollars south of our border to them? And then when they cross, it costs us like $150 billion a year to take care of them. And we're trying to figure out how to squeeze out 5.7 to kind of like cool the things down on the southern border. And Nancy Pelosi calling it immoral. I think the American people are catching on to that. Even the most moderate, I think, are catching on to that. I really do. So I would hope that the President of the United States continues to stay his course, may I say. Now, let me show you something that, now let me show you this. Now, the media, if you're out there anywhere listening, okay, they picked out what they wanted to bring up against Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the press secretary. So let's go to number 18. Now, Sarah is on Chris Wallace yesterday, Fox News Sunday. She's on there. And the border wall, and she makes a claim about terrorists and the southern border. And it's questioned by Chris Wallace, okay? And what she continues to say over and over, that our southern border is our most vulnerable border. It's the most vulnerable place of entry into this country, is that southern border. No matter if it's for drugs, no matter what it is, it's the most vulnerable area in this country. So they attack that, they clip that, and they're running it everywhere. You have heard that, right? You have heard that everywhere. You go and look, they'll use that all day. But let me tell you what they did not do. All right, let's go at number 23. In the same interview, okay, Chris Wallace said, to be honest, or something is this quote, not quote, but something in this line, after, you know, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, he said, well, you know, at least to be, you know, transparent here and tell the truth about it, illegal border crossings, this is the same exact interview with Sarah Huckabee Sanders. November 2017, 7,016 family units apprehended, okay? And we say family units, 4 kids, 2 kids, 3 kids, husband, whatever, so we'll call it 4. So you times that, 2017. November, that was just in November. November of 2017, just that month alone in November, 7,016 family units apprehended in 2017. Okay? November of 2018, 25,172 family units apprehended right there. 25,000. There you go. Now, what they're doing, if you're watching CBS and you're watching ABC and you're watching NBC and CNN and MSNBC, and you're watching everything you can to the left, okay, you will see the clip from Sarah Huckabee Sanders on the 4,000 illegals that tried to cross the border from countries of high risk or high-profile countries that we have top of the watch list. That is what they take away. But look at here. In just a year, we've gone from 7,016 family units, not just people, units. So times that by 4. November 2018, 25,172 family units apprehended. It's a crisis on our border. It's a matter of national security. It's an invasion. You wouldn't let it happen anywhere else. And they don't. They don't let it happen anywhere else. Try to get into Russia. Try to get into Mexico this way. Try to get into other areas of the world. And you and I are paying out of that $700 billion plus defense fund that the Pentagon generals, okay, the deep state generals are upset with Trump about. We're paying billions of dollars to secure the border in South Korea with thousands of our troops, with 53,000. But we send 2 to our border, and we have statistics like that. I'm your host, BKP. Let me see if there's anything else there I don't want to miss. I apologize for sounding a little gravelly. We're back to this, folks. Number 16, 5:05 a.m. Eastern Time. We're back to this. Former Trump White House official says. Former Trump White House official says it has devolved into anarchy without Kelly. So Kelly walked out last week. Wednesday was his last day of work. They gave him the cookie. He went for the cookie cake, or I don't know if maybe he went for the omelet guy. And the next thing you know, chaos breaks out again. Can you believe that? Again? Or is that the media one more time? 312,000 created jobs. On the jobs report Friday, 300,000. Government jobs during Obama were outpacing manufacturing 6-1. Manufacturing jobs under 2 years of Trump outpacing federal jobs 5-1. The deep state. It's a lot more than about the wall. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. North Georgia's only live online morning show. We'll be back tomorrow morning, Tuesday. We will have some big news in the murder case up there. And watch our social media this afternoon for some stuff going on in the murder case up in Fannin County. And we've got a lot of other things going on. So it's time for go to now. We allow you to leave and go to Facebook, Team FYN Sports, for instant replay with Dave Garner. Take us out of here, Josh.